Call meeting to order. Order of business is approve the minutes from last week. It's,
In Mr. Russo's letter. And I didn't mark it off, so
yeah. We'll go over that later.
yeah. And I don't think that, it doesn't, what I saw didn't change.
Change any meeting or anything?
No.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 9th, 2011, realizing there may be some typographical mistake.
Second? Any more discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, opposed? Thank you.
Chairman, if I may approach the board as a request for information.
Sure. Thank you.
And just also, if I can just finish up a couple of points. I don't know if you, well, obviously some of you have seen the article in the Hartford Current. The situation within Windsor Locks is snowballing and it's getting bigger and bigger. And we turn around and we say, well, Windsor Locks has nothing to do with the pornography incident that's allegedly involving Captain Bork and Granby. However, it appears, and I'm not positive, but it appears that that investigation started with the Windsor Locks accident investigation. And my thought is, and I've talked with many others, that whoever and whatever happened down there on Spring and West Street that night that occurred, when Captain Bork, if he allegedly, and I don't know what to believe because I actually like Captain Bork, but if he was allowed to leave the scene of an accident and he was under the impairment of liquor, then it was wrong on the part of whoever it was that confronted him. But the thing being is that obviously, according to the article, it was somebody at the scene, it appears to be from what the way the article was written, a police officer that tipped somebody off at the state police, and it's only going to come back and it's going to continue to get worse and worse. Because if you think about it, everybody knows, you get me, you took a bite out of me, and I'm going to take a bigger bite out of you. And that's what's going to end up happening, is that I imagine that Captain Bork is now probably going to come forward. There's going to be additional information that's going to be coming out about that accident, information that you may not know, or may know. But the thing is that eventually this has got to end. We've spent over $30,000 already, an additional appropriation of $8,200 as of last night, and from the article, what I was reading, originally, Rudowitz had requested $7,000 to $14,000. So we don't know that this $8,200 is going to be the end of it. So I would suggest that the police commission take a stand and do whatever they need to do to make things right. There's been a big mistake made in town. It's time to stand up and say enough is enough and take action. My other point is that I know that Sergeant Koistinen has not been convicted of a crime. However, he is out of work, being paid $73,000 a year to sit home while others work. They're talking about the possibility of it being 2 to 3 years before that case ever goes to trial. As a taxpayer in this town, I don't want to pay him $73,000 a year for sitting home on his ass. As far as I'm concerned, I think that he's charged with a felony. He hasn't been convicted, but I think that he should be put on administrative leave without pay, and that if he wins his case in the long run, that he be entitled to his back pay. But the fact remains is that right now, with the town of Windsor Locks continuing to pay his salary, if convicted, what are the chances of the town recuperating over $210,000 plus benefits from his salary from him? Nil to none. So the only thing we're doing right now is we're paying a man to sit home and do nothing when he should be
You're
shut
beginning
up.
to repeat yourself. Please wrap it up.
I'm done.
Thank you. Anyone else? Pam?
Yep, I'm Rita Sheridan, 128 Elm Street. Just a couple things, and it more has to do with the whole finance thing as a whole, because I went to the Board of Ed meeting last week where they were asking for so much money, and we really had to cut it down, but, two things. I understand that there are some lawsuits that were filed by either current or former officers, is that accurate?
Lawsuit.
Does the town
I
currently have a
believe-
couple of
I
lawsuits?
believe we have one. One,
Do you have one lawsuit now from a
Yes.
former officer,
Yes.
current officer?
former officer.
Do you know how long has it been going on for, and how much money has the town spent?
I
On
couldn't
this
tell you,
lawsuit.
it hasn't been going on for that long. As these things go, they tend to go years.
Yeah, I guess that's
It's
my
been
point.
going months, and I couldn't tell you how much it's been spent.
Okay, can you find out how much has been spent and who the
Sure.
attorney is that's been paid? Because my thought process is, how long do we think it's going to go on for? Because that money can be used towards the $200,000 that's short on the Board of Ed side. So, why not cut our losses now and figure out what we're gonna do so we can spend that money, for that $200,000
Well, if-
shortfall?
If we thought that was the easiest, the best thing to do, we'd do it. I
Well,
mean,
I-
we don't just stop lawsuits because they cost money, or everybody would just sue us and we'd throw up our hands and say, take whatever you want.
Right, I understand that completely, but my question is, number one, how long has the lawsuit been going on for? How much money has the town spent for attorneys, or is one attorney involved, or are there multiple attorneys involved? Is it, how much money has been spent, and how much do we anticipate is going to be spent? When is it going to end? Is there another court date set up? I guess I'm looking for that also. And
Do you
then,
know if there's another court date?
Court date hasn't even been set yet.
Court date hasn't been set yet.
okay, but you'll find out how much money's been spent so far.
I think I can find that.
Okay.
I'm not positive, we don't track that on a regular basis.
Who tracks it? Somebody's gotta be paying these bills from the
Oh,
town.
yeah, the town, if the town has paid money for that, we can find that out from the finance department.
Okay, so is this question better for the Board of Finance then, to find out how much has been spent?
Well, I think we can find it out. I
Okay,
mean,
perfect.
if you want us to find out, we'll find
Yeah,
out.
that would be great. It's just, because I'm assuming that we have potential lawsuits coming up because of this incident in October. So it's more money
I
going
don't know
out.
if that's the case or not.
Well, I guess, according to the paper, the attorneys have filed a notice of a lawsuit impending against the town. I think that's what it stated.
I'm not sure at this point.
And I guess I'm just looking at it, we're taking money away from another area which is deeply needed. Okay,
It's true, but
And
we
then the
can't
other-
stop people from suing us.
I understand it, but if you could find out the answer to that
Sure.
question, that would be great.
We'll
And my
do our-
second
we'll
one
do our-
is that, when an officer is arrested, why aren't they put on unpaid leave so we don't have to pay them?
Because we are, by union contract, have to do an internal investigation and find out if there, correct me if I'm wrong, John, Jeff. We do an internal investigation. When that investigation is over, then perhaps we'll be able to do that.
So, what investigation are you talking about, the state police investigation?
Our own investigation.
Attorney Rude.
So
Attorney
you're
Rudowitz.
dependent on the Rudowitz
right.
investigation?
Yes.
Okay, but so his arrest has nothing to do with
That
whether you
was-
fired him or keep him on?
That was an external.
You can't fire him because he was arrested.
Okay,
He wasn't convicted of anything.
okay. So, but can you suspend him then without pay or do something like
No,
that?
you can't. By union contract, you cannot.
So this is all about a union contract versus,
No, it's about his rights under the union contract. and-
that's what I'm just saying, so
Yes.
I'm just repeating what you just said.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, when Rudowitz comes back and with his report, how are you going to determine then if he can be suspended without pay?
We get together with our labor attorney and decide if that's possible.
Okay,
We have an attorney too.
right, I understand that.
Right.
But I guess my point is that we're paying him and it's more money that could be going towards, I look at the Board of Ed because we need the money in the school systems. We don't need to be throwing it away, to people who are not working, I guess is my point,
Yes,
and who are
Absolutely.
arrested.
absolutely, but they're not convicted, they're arrested.
No, I understand that, but I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
Does it go the same if you're a teacher?
Everyone is
and you're
frustrated,
arrested?
but, we have to abide by the contracts and by the law. So, we're all
Okay.
frustrated. Nobody wants to pay people for not working,
Well, that's it.
least of all us. I
Exactly,
mean, we fight for our budget every year,
right,
and so we don't want to pay them either.
yeah,
But our hands are tied at this point.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, can I
Sure.
your name and address for me again?
Rita Sheridan,
Rita
128 Elm Street.
128 Elm, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a follow-up question regarding that. My name is William Russo, 407 Elmwood Drive, Windsor Locks. So, Commissioner Cunningham, you're telling me that our department has lost its ability to do its own internal investigation?
No, I
To do
didn't
its
say that
own,
at
no,
all.
I'm saying to do its own internal investigation, perhaps done by the captain, maybe by the chief. I wouldn't suggest the chief because he has something to do with the incident, but I certainly think that Captain DeGray is perfectly capable of reviewing what happened that night and making some kind of decision on what the rules and regulations, general orders, or code of conduct were violated, and make a recommendation to the chief or make a recommendation to the Board of Police Commission. I find your explanation regarding having to wait for an independent investigation totally out of the question.
Thank you.
Well, did we lose our ability to do that?
We're not gonna debate things
I-
here.
I would like an
Your
answer.
public input, that's your public input,
I would
then,
like an answer. Did we lose our ability to do that?
no, we don't lose our
I think we
ability.
have then. I think you're all in bed together.
Go. My question is, isn't it true that you can terminate an employee based upon the violations of department rules and regulations?
I believe that's true.
Then there's no need to wait for the criminal case to ever go through the
We're
court.
not waiting for the criminal case, we're waiting for Mr. Rudowitz's investigation to complete.
Okay, well, I wanted clarification on that, because a minute ago you said that the person hadn't been convicted of the crime yet.
No, I didn't say that, but I could understand where you might hear that. No, but that's not the case. We're waiting for Mr. Rudowitz's case to end, investigation to be completed. And then we'll talk to our labor attorney and see what we can do at that point, based on his opinion. Ma'am,
I just have
your name and address, please.
Patsy Tamalonis, 69 Juniper.
Thank you.
Mike, I understand what you said as far as the independent thing. Is there any length of time, let's say he says, well, and you do your thing, how long can a person be on paid administration? Is there any kind of cutoff? I mean, is it 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years?
Couldn't tell you.
There is no,
I don't know.
Oh,
Our
okay.
labor attorney's not here, he would be able to tell you that.
it was just kind of a.
Yeah, no, I don't know the
I mean, I
answer.
can understand where you're coming from as far as waiting for the independent
Right.
review and what have you. I was just wondering, geez, he could be unpaid administrator for 3 years by the time it goes to a
I
court.
seriously doubt that, but
Well, no,
I can't
I
tell
just-
you
no.
I can't tell you because I don't know.
No, I just was wondering, what is the norm for paid administration,
I don't think there is one, it's all case by case. You're welcome.
I'd like to make one follow-up comment on that. I think that paid administrative leave is dependent upon the chief and the Board of Police Commissioners, and that's the answer.
Thank you.
Can I just have one more follow-up?
Wait a minute, all right, this is it. Go ahead, Michael, last time.
My question is that we're talking about continued investigations and stuff. Technically, the chief is being investigated at 2 as to whether or not he did anything wrong. Is that correct?
The chief is not being singled out, the whole.
I know that
scene
he's not being singled
The
out.
whole procedures, who was there, what was done, and what procedures are.
Well, my question is that since the chief is part of the investigation, why is the chief not on administrative leave with pay? He's a salaried employee, and technically he's under
He hasn't
investigation.
been charged by the state police or the state's attorney with a crime. That's why. Thank you. Budgets.
Mr. Chairman, I just gave you 3 communications.
I'm not gonna take this up at this meeting.
Is there a reason why?
Well, first of all, they're not on the agenda.
Doesn't have to be on the agenda.
I decide that. You don't decide.